Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Nawi Rahma, Process Manjuntak. My student's number is 3322021 and today I'm going to present about regional and social dialect in the fields of social linguistics. This topic helps us understand how language varies depending on where people are from and their social background. Let's get started. Let's start with what a dialect actually is. A dialect is a variety of language used by a specific group of people, either based on their region or their social group. Dialects often don't have a formal written form and are sometimes viewed as less standard or incorrect forms of the main language. Next is mutual intelligibility. It means that how well speakers of different dialects can understand each other. Even though people may speak different dialects, they can often still understand each other depending on things like how closely related the dialects are, how much education or exposure someone has had to the other variety, and even their willingness to understand. We often confuse these three terms, language, dialect, and accent, but they are different. A language is a full system of communication that is usually standardized. It includes grammar rules, spelling, and vocabulary, and it's often influenced by political, historical, and cultural factors. A dialect is a variation of language based on region or social groups. It includes difference in vocabulary, sentence structure, and pronunciation. An accent refers only to how someone pronounces words. It doesn't change the grammar or vocabulary, but it can reveal where someone is from or what social group where they belong to. There are two main types of dialects. A regional dialect shows where someone is from geographically. For example, someone from Manchester will speak differently than someone from London. A social dialect, on the other hand, reflects someone's social background, like their class, education level, gender, age, or ethnicity. The way we speak can show which group we belong to in society. Different countries that speak the same language often have their own versions. For example, in English, we have British accent and Australian accent. In Spanish, there's a difference between how it's spoken in Spain, Mexico, Argentina, and Paraguay. French is different in Paris, Montreal, and Haiti. These variations include changes in pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. For example, British English says, have you got? While American English say, do you have? Now let's talk about dialect chains and wave theory. A dialect chain means that speakers in neighboring areas can usually understand each other, but the farther apart they are, the harder it is to understand one another. Over long distances, the dialect might be so different that people can't understand each other anymore. Meanwhile, wave theory explains how new changes in language, like new words or sounds, spread like ripples in water. These changes spread from a center point and affect nervy areas first, then move outward, mixing with other changes. We can see dialect continua in Scandinavia. For example, in southern and central Sweden, the dialects change little by little. In eastern Norway, the dialects mix with Swedish dialects. Western Norwegian dialects are different but still form part of the overall continuum. This shows that languages don't change suddenly across borders, they change gradually. Just like with regions, dialect can also change gradually across different social classes. In Jamaica, for example, the upper class speaks standard English while the lower class speaks Jamaican Creole. In between the two, people use mixed forms that share features from both ends. This shows how language can reflect your place in society, not just where you're from, but how much education you have, your income level, and your lifestyle. Now, let's look at how social variation appears in the Indo-European language family. There are stable features like edge dropping in Cockney English, which stays the same over generations and is often linked to working class identity. Another example is multiple negation, like I don't know nothing, which is more common among lower class groups. There are also unstable features such as the use of new words or pronunciation trends. This usually begin with one social group like young people or the middle class and then spread slowly across society. To summarize, language is not one fixed thing. It includes many dialects based on both region and social class. Mutual intelligibility shows how dialects can be more or less understandable, and this changes gradually, not suddenly. The way we speak tells people something about us, where we are from, what group we belong to, and even our class or identity. Understanding this helps us see language as a social tool that constantly changes and evolves. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope this presentation helped you understand how dialects work and why they matter in social linguistics. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Nauli Rahma Fauzi Simanjuntak and my student's number is 3320212. And today I'll be talking about style shifting. Basically, style shifting is when we change the way we speak or write depending on who we're talking to, the setting, and what we're talking about. This skill is really important for the communication because it helps us be more effective and respectful depending on the situation. Okay, let's get started. First, what is style shifting? It means changing the way we speak or write based on who we're talking to, where we are, or what the situation is. For example, we might speak more formally during a job interview, but use casual language with friends. It's a skill that helps us communicate better depending on the context. The decision to shift our speaking style depends on two things: how formal the situation is and what we're talking about. A serious topic or a formal setting usually needs more precise language, while casual situations allow for relaxed language. Knowing when to shift helps us choose words that fit the situation. Style shifting is important because it makes our communication clearer and more effective. If we use the right tone and style, people are more likely to understand us and feel connected to what we're saying. There are two basic types of styles, formal and informal. Formal styles uses exact words and avoids contraction like don't or isn't. This style is common in business, school, or professional writing. Informal style is relaxed and use casual expressions which are great for texting friends or chatting online. We have to be smart about choosing styles. For example, writing a dissertation needs a formal style, but commenting on social media can be informal. The right choice depends on who you are talking to and why. Let's now look at prestige in language. Offered prestige is when someone uses the standard or high form of language like British received pronunciation to show social status or education level. People might use this to sound more professional or respected. Covered prestige, on the other hand, is the opposite. It means using non-standard language like African American vernacular English not to sound high class but to connect with a certain group or community. It shows cultural identity and group belonging. Our language reflects who we are. People who use over prestige often want to show their education or class. Those who use cover prestige might want to show their roots or identity. So language is not just about grammar, it's about who we are socially. So choosing between offered and cover styles can affect how others see us. It influences how we're treated, how people respond to us, and even how much they trust us. So, knowing which style to use is very important in communication. Now, let's talk about speech accommodation. Convergence is where we change our way of speaking to be more like the person we're talking to. For example, if someone speaks slowly, we must slow down too. This helps us build a connection and improve understanding. On the other hand, divergence is where we intentionally speak differently from someone to show our identity or to create distance. Maybe we want to stand out or show we're not part of a certain group. It's a powerful communication tool too. Register. Register means using a specific language style depending on the setting. For example, we use different words when we're talking to a doctor than we're talking to friends. Using the right register helps people understand us better. When we use the right register, it helps our audience follow what we say. If we use medical jargon with a non-doctor, they might get confused. So, adapting our language helps keep communication clear and engaging. Different registers use different vocabulary and grammar. A legal document, for example, sounds very formal and precise. Sports commentary, meanwhile, is energetic and informal. Recognizing these features help us communicate well in any situation. Let's look at three cases. Medical language. Medical language uses technical terms that are often hard for ordinary people to understand. Sport commentary is fast-paced and fun, designed to excite listeners. Legal language is full of complex words and structure to make everything very clear and official. Let's talk about jargon. Jargon is a type of language used by a specific professions. For example, programmers use words like debug or syntax error that only other programmers really understand. Jargon helps people in the same field communicate quickly and clearly. You will find jargon in many fields like the military or computer science. It's very useful within those fields but can be confusing for outsiders. Understanding jargon is important if you want to join a specific professional group. It shows you belong and helps you speak more efficiently with others in that field. Slang. Slang is different from jargon. Slang is informal and often used by young people or specific social groups. It changes fast and reflects pop culture. Words like lit, ghosting, salty are examples of modern slang. Slang helps people express identity and feel like part of a group. It's fun, creative, and constantly evolving. Slang doesn't last forever. As cultures changes, old slang disappears and new slang appears. This keeps our language fresh and shows how communication styles are always changing. Okay, that's all from my presentation today. I hope you now understand more about style shifting, prestige, speech accommodation, register, jargon, and slang. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.